Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing another movie review. This movie is a horror comedy from the UK, English language, released in the year 2017, directed by Benjamin Barfoot, and this film is called Double Date. So Double Date is about two very good friends. One of the friends happens to be a virgin, and the other one is God's gift to women. Basically a very self-assured, very confident, and he sees it as his duty to get his friend laid. And so they go to this nightclub on this evening, and they're looking around for women that might basically make this man's dreams come true, and they come across two beautiful sisters. Now these sisters take a liking to the virgin, which makes him very skeptical, because this is something that the virgin isn't really familiar with. Basically women liking him, let alone beautiful women, and so he thinks something's up, but the confident friend sees this as an opportunity too good to refuse. So the more they get to know these sisters, the stranger things are starting to get, and this is where they realise that the sisters actually have a hidden motive behind them actually giving these guys attention, and it involves something terrifying. And so if the friends are about to get out of this date alive, they're going to have to uncover the truth and find a way around it. So whether or not they can, something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Double Date. I really wanted to see this movie because it was a British horror comedy. Now I know that, horror comedies are vast. A lot of movies are out there that actually try this subgenre, and a lot of these movies fails because either the horror's not there or the comedy's really not there, so they can't really get a fine blend. But the reason why I wanted to check this movie out is that it was a British horror comedy, and I believe no one does horror comedies better than the British. Case in point, you've got Shaun of the Dead, The Cottage, Severance, Inbred, all these movies that really took the world by storm and showcased the humour of Britain. Now, I gravitate to British humour because it's very similar to Australian humour, so if you are from the United States, maybe it won't translate as well, but this is the main reason why I wanted to check out this movie, is because I really hadn't heard about it before, but when I stumbled upon the trailer on YouTube, I thought I definitely have to give this one a go, and I was hoping that it would deliver. And after watching the movie yesterday, I will say that this movie definitely does deliver. In fact, it was a lot better than I thought it was, because of the fact it's so confident in what it's trying to do. A lot of these horror comedies, they try to come into it and they're either not confident in the horror, they're not confident in the comedy, or maybe they're not confident in either genre, and it just really falls flat and you feel as though something is missing. But in this movie, I felt as though Benjamin Barfoot is in his comfort zone. Therefore, because he's so confident in what he's doing, it translates through to the characters, the actors, and the script. And I think everything works on such a smooth playing field that it comes through the screen and it emphasises that level of fun. Is that this is a very caricature nature that the movie has, but what I liked about the caricature nature is that it's complemented by relatable characters, and that the characters you're not necessarily loving, you don't want to see them die, you don't want to see them die, but you're not really going to be distraught if they're dead. But the relatable sort of banter that these friends have between each other is something that I could relate to. Is that this is the way I talk to my friends when we're having a guy's night out or whatever. I could say to myself, okay, well this reminds me of actually going out with my friends, and so you can relate to the situation, you can relate to the language that these characters are going through, and so it does give you a little bit of relatability, a little bit of realism in this very outlandish sort of cartoonish world. And so the actual director and the script has actually taken time and attention to actually give you something in these characters. So it felt as though this movie had a little bit of love behind it, and that's why, as I said, the movie just reeks of that confidence, and that confidence allows you to enjoy the movie as much as you do because it all feels very natural. The comedy, I thought, was laugh out loud funny, especially the very awkward interactions between these friends, and then the interactions with these beautiful women. I thought, alright, well, everyone's felt very awkward in front of that beautiful person, and I thought, alright, well, that's another thing that you can really relate to. And so some of the things that are said, I thought, alright, this is funny, and it really sets the foundation for the light-hearted caricature nature that the movie has. But then it starts to go into very dark territory, and that very dark territory is where the horror starts to come into it. So it doesn't have to be funny all the time, it doesn't have to be scary all the time, it basically has to be a partnership. And that partnership of horror and comedy in this movie is very evenly matched, and so fans of both genres are really going to like what Benjamin Barfoot has to deliver. So I thought the acting was good, especially from the very awkward virgin. I could believe he was a virgin, and I just thought the interactions with everybody involved were very funny, especially the interactions with his family when he's introducing one of these sisters. I thought that was really, really strange, but at the same time really, really funny. So it never loses the tone that the movie really wants in order to allow you to enjoy what is actually going on. So there's a very, very nasty moments. These beautiful women, let's just say they don't really have beautiful souls, and it makes it even scarier is that you see angelic faces, very good looking faces. You don't associate that with really bad things, but when you know what these people are capable of. It's like a wolf in sheep's clothing, is that be careful what you wish for, because even the most innocent looking people can have very sinister, dark intentions. And so I thought that was really well done, and their slow progression from light-hearted comedy into horror I thought was just very creepy. And so there's a strong level of creepiness. I thought the awkwardness when all the interactions gives the movie a certain sense of dread, is that you know that this night is not going to end very well for everybody involved. And when it comes time for the gore set pieces, I thought it was actually quite nasty, and right at the end it just goes absolutely bonkers. And I really like the way that it goes bonkers, because it gives it that exaggerated feeling. So the exaggerated caricature feeling that this world is set in, it alleviates the pressure of the horror, and it just creates something that it's just a lot of fun to actually sit back and watch. And so it's the perfect movie to watch with a group of friends. If I have problems with the movie, they are very minuscule problems. I thought some of the editing here and there could have looked a little bit better, but the continuation and the fluency of the film is never disrupted. Therefore, you're able to enjoy the movie as much as the director allows you. And so the confidence that is brimming from the script, the characters, allows the actors to have a lot of fun with what they're doing, and the director also. And because the whole film knows exactly what it's doing, and it's very confident in what it's trying to do, it'll actually translate through, and the viewer is going to have as much fun as the people who are acting in the movie. So I thought that was all very, very good. If you are a fan of horror comedies from Britain, then yes, not as good as Shaun of the Dead and the movies I just mentioned, but it's certainly worthy of another addition to the very memorable movies from this subgenre from this corner of the world. So overall, for Double Date, going to give this one 4 stars. I enjoyed it immensely. Go out there and see it. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.